What's good, y'all? We back with another video, man, and today I will be listing matches to make after AEW Full Gear. Now, AEW Full Gear took place last Saturday. It was a pretty decent show in my opinion. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the best AEW pay-per-view, but it was a pretty damn good show. And, you know, a lot of things happened during AEW Full Gear. So we will basically be running down matches that I believe that should take place, you know what I'm saying, after Full Gear, whether it's on Dynamite or a following pay-per-view. So let's get right into this video, man. Now, first match I have on this list, the main event of Full Gear last night was Jon Moxley versus Orange Cassidy. And we seen Jon Moxley retain his AEW World title. Orange Cassidy got completely screwed over by Wheeler Yuta, as Willie fucking Yuta, you know what I'm saying, basically gave Jon Moxley the match. Wheeler Yuta costed Orange Cassidy the AEW World title. Now, I didn't really think that Orange Cassidy, in my opinion, would even win the AEW World title in the first fucking place. But, you know, it still sucks for Orange Cassidy that, you know what I'm saying, Wheeler Yuta costing him the belt, but it is what it is. After this match, Hangman Adam Page came down to confront Jon Moxley. They faced off for a little bit, and then Christian Cage came out of nowhere. Yes, Christian Cage hit Jon Moxley with a unprettier from behind, and I'm thinking, holy fucking shit, holy shit, is Christian Cage about to cash in this contract? Is Christian Cage about to become the next AEW World Champ? For a minute, I thought it was a real possibility. I thought it was going to happen. Hangman Adam Page left the ring as Christian Cage is about to cash in his contract on a lifeless Jon Moxley. But Jay White gets his revenge, switchblades Christian Cage out the ring. And after that, the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, Marina Shafir, and I believe Wheeler Yuta, all attacked Jay White. That pretty much ended the show. So, I'm thinking to myself, maybe they might be setting up a Jon Moxley versus Jay White match in the future. Maybe at a pay-per-view, maybe at World's End next month. Or before the show really went off the air, as everybody was backstage, as the Death Riders was backstage of getting ready to leave the arena, you just seen a random ass car covered in graffiti run straight into the Death Riders truck. I'm like, what the hell is this? What the hell is going on here? It was no other than Darby Allin. And Darby Allin pretty much chases off the rest of the Blackpool Combat Club. And they haul last, and that's the end of Full Gear. So, you could go two routes here. Or, you could do this. Like I said before, Jon Moxley versus Jay White. That would be a damn good main event that could also headline World's End. That would be a great fucking match for the AEW World title. Hell, I've even said in the past, that Jay White should be in title contention. He should not be facing all for 6-man world titles, ROH titles. He shouldn't be competing for those type of belts. He should be competing for the top gold in AEW, which is the AEW World Championship belt. So I think this is the right time to insert Jay White back into AEW World title contention. If you don't want to go the route of Jay White, you can also do Darby Allin, since they've been building up a Darby Allin, Jon Moxley. They've been building that up for a long time. I know they had the match at Grand Slam where Darby Allin pretty much lost his title shot to Jon Moxley. But you can always rehash that feud, and in my opinion, I think Darby Allin is so close to becoming the next AEW World Champion. Like, if anybody can take the title off Jon Moxley, I feel like Darby Allin might be that guy. Because they've been building up Darby Allin for so long. For so long. And I thought to myself, you know, even though that Darby Allin lost his shot to Jon Moxley, you know they got to be like, man, we got to put the title on Darby Allin in the future, because Darby Allin's one of those guys, and he's one of the top guys, one of the most popular guys on AEW. He's also a homegrown talent. So, and the last time we've seen an AEW champion who was also a homegrown talent was MJF. So I think it's time to give Darby Allin a shot at the AEW World title and a nice run. So they could either do Jon Moxley versus Darby Allin or Jon Moxley versus Jay White at World's End. Maybe you could also do this. Why not a triple threat? A triple threat between Jon Moxley, Jay White, Darby Allin. That would be a fucking phenomenal triple threat right there. I would love to see that. I would love to see that match. So, I mean, it's a lot of routes you can go. And let's not forget about Christian Cage, man. He still has that contract. When the hell is Christian Cage actually going to cash that in? And is he going to become the next AEW World Champion? Is he going to become is he going to win it? Who the fuck knows, man? But this is the match. If I'm Tony Khan, this is the match I'm booking. Either Jon Moxley, Jay White, or Jon Moxley, Darby Allin, or a triple threat. Moving on to our next match. I've talked about this earlier in this video. I'm not going to waste my time too much on it. You can do Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta. Yuta cost Orange Cassidy hit the AEW World title at Full Gear. The story is right there. These two guys have had matches in the past, I believe. So, and these guys are former friends, former partners, a part of best friends. They have history. So you could do this match, a nice blow-off match between these two guys. Maybe a nice stipulation, like a hardcore match. Last man standing, falls count anywhere, something along those lines. But yeah, man, we're going to have to move on. Now, this is a match right here that I was thinking to myself, this could be the finals of the Continental Classic this year. Will Ospreay versus Kazuchika Okada. I would love to see these two guys face off in AEW. I mean, we've seen it in the G1 Climax. We've seen it in New Japan. This match right here will feed fucking families in AEW, bro. Because they announced the Continental Classic, and they announced everyone who's in it. So, at first, I was thinking maybe Darby Allin could win. Maybe we might get Darby Allin versus Okada in the finals. But I'm not too sure now, because Darby Allin still has that feud with the Death Riders and Jon Moxley. So, and Ospreay is coming off a loss against Kyle Fletcher. So I think what better way to avenge that loss, get some wins in the Continental Classic. You know, he could rack up some wins in the Continental Classic. Ospreay moves on in the finals, and you have Okada in the finals. Okada versus Ospreay. Okada versus Ospreay, Continental Classic at World's End in the finals for the Continental Crown. I think that's a fucking phenomenal match. I'm sure there are a lot of guys, well, a lot of fans who would love to see this match in AEW. Man, and I mean, you can also have Will Ospreay go after the rest of the elite, you know, say this is the finals of the Continental Classic. You can also have Ospreay be like, what the hell is the elite doing? We got the Death Riders here taking over AEW, and the elite basically have hauled ass. Talking about the Young Bucks here. So, hey man, I would love to see this match. I'm predicting this is the finals. This is the finals of the Continental Classic. Ospreay versus Okada. Now, I really wanted to see Ospreay versus, Kenny Omega versus Okada. Like, I really don't know where the hell Omega's at the moment. I feel like Omega is... He did make a return in Japan. Omega did make a return, I believe was in New Japan. I think he's having a match in Japan. He needs to bring his ass back to AEW, man. We need a guy like Omega, bro. We need some more top stars in AEW. Tony Khan needs that guy back, bro. But, you know, this would also be a great match. Okada versus Ospreay. Two of the best of the fucking world. Two of the best in the world. Moving on, man. Now, Swerve Strickland lost against Bobby Lashley at Full Gear. But I feel like they could have a second match if they wanted to. They could carry out this feud for a couple of more months if they really wanted to. Because I'm still interested in Swerve Strickland and Bobby Lashley and their whole dynamic, their whole feud and the Hurt Syndicate. By the way, we hurt people. We hurt people. That fucking song is fire. I love that song from the Hurt Syndicate. We hurt people. We hurt people. I love that fucking song, man. Like I can really see that getting over with the fans quick as hell. Like they can get over fast with the fans. They were even chanting it during the match at Full Gear. So I wouldn't mind seeing Swerve and Bobby Lashley run it back, you know, for a second match. Maybe you can add a stipulation in that match as well. And maybe Swerve might need some help to face off against the Hurt Syndicate, you know. Swerve is a man alone. He only has Prince Nana in his corner. Yeah, he doesn't have the Mongol embassy. He doesn't have no other people that's really beside him unless it's Prince Nana. So maybe Swerve Strickland can find some guys. Maybe he can find people that would join him and help fight off the Hurt Syndicate. Maybe. But I wouldn't mind seeing these two guys have another match. You know, they had a fucking great match at Full Gear. Like, I would honestly say that Swerve Strickland versus Bobby Lashley probably was match of the night. It's either between this match right here, Swerve and Lashley, or Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. Both of those matches were pretty fucking amazing. But this match, like, really surprised me, man. Really surprised me. I was very pumped up for these two guys, you know. After the match, yeah, they really fucking brought it their all. Another guy that I wouldn't mind see Swerve Strickland in the ring with and have a nice feud and program with is Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher had a massive win over Will Ospreay at Full Gear. And what better way to continue that momentum than defeating another former champion in AEW, a former AEW World Champion at that, in Swerve Strickland. He doesn't even have to defeat Swerve Strickland. Just even being in a feud with Strickland can elevate Kyle Fletcher. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Kyle Fletcher and Swerve Strickland could have an interesting dynamic between each other. Also with Don Callis and the Callis family. I feel like that feud would be a pretty damn good feud as well, and that match would be great. So either I would rather see Swerve Strickland and Lashley 2, you know what I'm saying? Or maybe they can have a third match in there as well. They can have a trilogy. But I wouldn't mind seeing them run it back. If they don't run it back, I wouldn't mind seeing Swerve take on Kyle Fletcher. I wouldn't mind seeing any of those two matches. But moving on, though. Now, Konosuke Takeshita defeated Ricochet at Full Gear. And that match was also a pretty fucking phenomenal match. I didn't really expect Ricochet to defeat Takeshita, especially since Takeshita, he just won the belt. But since he defeated Ricochet, I'm thinking you could go on and move on to Will Hobbs, Powerhouse Hobbs. He just made his return. He was Ricochet's partner against the Don Callis family, I believe. Or I think it was the Don Callis family. But he has history with the Don Callis family. He's also, like, right now in the feud with the Don Callis family. So it makes sense. Takeshita versus Powerhouse Hobbs. I think that match would be great as well. Takeshita versus anybody would be fucking phenomenal. But, Powerhouse Hobbs is one of those guys that he's been in AEW ever since the beginning, pretty much. He's a homegrown talent. And he has really, really grown since, the pandemic days when he made his debut. He has really grown since then. So I wouldn't mind seeing Powerhouse Hobbs go after the International Championship belt. I don't think that Powerhouse Hobbs defeat Takeshita. I don't think that happens. I think Takeshita holds on to this belt for a long time. But if you give Powerhouse Hobbs a great showing against Takeshita and have a great match against Takeshita, that's going to do just as good for Powerhouse Hobbs, man. Powerhouse Hobbs he came back as a face. I actually like Powerhouse Hobbs back as a face. It's been a while since he's been a face. So I think Powerhouse Hobbs will give Takeshita a run for his fucking money. This match didn't happen at World's End, man. Like, this is a pay-per-view match. I would love to see. You could have it on Dynamite as well. But I would love to see this match at World's End in December, bro. But yeah, man, that's my match. Konosuke Takeshita versus Powerhouse Hobbs, International Championship belt. And you could do that within the next month, man. Moving on, though. Daniel Garcia, your new TNT champion, defeated Jack Perry last night. Well, not last night, but at Full Gear. Excuse me. Defeated Jack Perry as I predicted. Even though I didn't even make a predictions video for Full Gear, it is what it is. But I thought to myself, this is the time to put a title on Daniel Garcia. He's coming off that feud with MJF, and he is over with the crowd and with the fans. I don't see Daniel Garcia becoming a major top star in AEW. Not at the moment, at least. Like, I really don't see him as a future AEW world champion. But him as TNT champion is fucking perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And I was so glad that he defeated Jack Perry last night. There's no shade to Jack Perry at all. I'm a Jack Perry fan, but I feel like, Jack Perry held that title for a pretty long time so far. Why not give it to another AEW homegrown talent in Daniel Garcia? And they did exactly that. Daniel Garcia is gonna have a great run with the TNT title. I'm glad to see him with some gold in AEW. He really, really deserves it. I know that he's going to be in the Continental Classic, so that's big for Daniel Garcia. I don't think he's going to win it though, but for him to defend the belt, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing Daniel Garcia versus Jack Perry again, because, you know, technically Jack Perry is owed a rematch. He's he was a former champion. He's owed a rematch for the TNT belt. So I'm pretty sure they're going to run that back, maybe on Dynamite, you know, Daniel Garcia versus Jack Perry. But I don't think Jack Perry is going to win a belt. Well, he's not going to win it back, in my opinion. I don't think Jack Perry is going to defeat Daniel Garcia to take back the TNT Championship. If you don't do that, if you don't do Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia again, or if you have Jack Perry lose to Garcia, I wouldn't mind seeing Daniel Garcia versus a guy like Kyle Fletcher. You know, back in my recent videos, I predicted Kyle Fletcher to, I believe I predicted him to become a future TNT champion. I feel like that belt fits Kyle Fletcher a lot. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing him as international champion as well, but it kind of conflicts with him and Takeshita, as you know what I'm saying, they're both a part of the Don Callis family. So the next belt for him to go after is the TNT title. I feel like Kyle Fletcher versus Daniel Garcia would be a fucking great match. Daniel Garcia can feud with the Don Callis family as well. And if there's anyone that I would think takes the title, hold on. If there's anyone that I would think that takes the title away from Daniel Garcia, why not have it be Kyle Fletcher? Kyle Fletcher is a nice heel, great heel. In my opinion, has one of the fucking most hated figures in wrestling right now as his manager in Don Callis. I'm not saying you make this match now. I'm not saying you take the title away from Daniel Garcia immediately. But, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing these guys feud for the TNT belt in the near future. Because both of these guys are in the Continental Classic. And if I'm not mistaken, they're both in the same league. So they can have matches against each other. So, you know, you could build this feud within the Continental Classic and have Kyle Fletcher go after the TNT title that is around the waist of Daniel Garcia. So, yes, we're going to move on, though. Next match. Mercedes Moné, the CEO. I wouldn't mind her seeing, you know, Jamie Hayter in the future. I know Mercedes Moné, she got past Chris Statlander in what was a fucking great match. I feel like it was probably one of Mercedes Moné's best matches in AEW so far. I didn't think that Chris Stat would take the title away from Mercedes, especially since Chris Stat just lost the TBS title. So, I think the next woman up is Jamie Hayter. And I don't think we've seen Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter in AEW so far. I don't even think they faced off at all, in my opinion. Now, I might be wrong, so if I'm wrong, correct me in the comments down below. But Mercedes Moné versus Jamie Hayter, that is a great match for the women's division. That is a great match for both of these women. For Jamie Hayter, I mean, to be in the ring with a guy, well, Jesus fucking Christ, disrespecting Mercedes Moné, with a female like Mercedes Moné, who's had the credentials, has been in WWE in the past, has, you know what I'm saying, done it all, would be great for Jamie Hayter. Hell, if you really, really, like, you could take the title away. If there's a female who I would believe is a good option to take the title away from Mercedes Moné, it would be Jamie Hayter. Like, Jamie Hayter is a believable person to take the title away from Mercedes. As far as for Mercedes go, this gives her another hungry challenger, another female for her to face and have a great match with, and prove the doubters wrong, because a lot of people have been hating on Mercedes Moné. They said she's overrated. They said that she has been exposed ever since she's been in AEW. So this gives her another wrestler, another person in the females division to have a damn good match with, to change some of those opinions, you know. So yeah, man, if I were to predict Mercedes Moné's next challenger for the TBS title, I'm predicting no other than Jamie Hayter, man. Moving on to the next match, MJF versus Adam Cole. Now, I'm not going to waste my time too much on this, because this feud has been going on for pretty much an entire year now. Like, it's been going on for a long ass time. You know, me personally, I just want this feud to end, and I just want these two guys to move on away from each other. I really do. I feel like this match should have happened at Full Gear. It didn't happen. Instead, MJF defeated Roderick Strong, Adam Cole's friend. I think you do this match at World's End, because if I'm not mistaken, this match was supposed to happen at last year's World's End. Well, you know, no, because Adam Cole turned on MJF at last year's World End. So you do this match at this year's World End, 1 year apart from, you know what I'm saying, Adam Cole turning on MJF. It just, this feud from last year to now has lost so much fucking fire. Like, it has lost my interest, because at first Adam Cole was a heel. He was a heel. He turned on MJF. I've mentioned this in past videos. Adam Cole was a heel when he left. He returns as a babyface. That makes no fucking sense, in my opinion. It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. It really doesn't. How does Adam Cole turns heel on MJF, returns as a babyface? Cause it fucks everything up. It messes everything up, and it sucks for both of these guys, because both of these guys are great talents, great on the mic, and just great overall at what they do. It's just, I feel like they could be involved in much better storylines and much better positions at the moment. But for some reason, Tony Khan or maybe MJF and Adam Cole themselves, they really want to finish this storyline. They want to finish the story, man. So fuck it. You know, this feud should not last any longer past World's End. And I mean that. No more. No more. Please. Let these two guys have their nice blow-off match. Let them get it out the way at World's End. And then we move on. We move on, okay? Moving on to the last match I have on this list, which is Private Party versus Lance Archer and Brian Cage. Now, Private Party retained their belts in that fatal four-way AEW tag team title match at Full Gear, which I thought they should have anyways. You know, I've advocated for Private Party to become AEW World Tag Team Champions since they've been in AEW for so fucking long, and they've gotten a hold for so long. Finally, they defeated the Young Bucks at Dynamite to become AEW Tag Champions. So, hey, I'm excited and I'm happy for Private Party. But I really don't see this team holding the belts for that long. So if there's any team that I would think that would take the title away from Private Party, why not let it be Lance Archer and Brian Cage, who's a part of the Don Callis family. Lance Archer and Brian Cage, they've been building up this team for quite a bit of time, for about a month so far. They've been building up this dominant tag team for a month on Collision, on ROH. They've been having matches, destroying other tag teams in their path. I think you should build up Lance Archer and Brian Cage. You should have them on Dynamite, have them defeat a bunch of teams, which will lead them into a tag title match between them and Private Party. I think Don Callis family should honestly have all the gold. Konosuke has the international title. Kyle Fletcher doesn't have a belt at the moment. He could in the future. But why not give Lance Archer and Brian Cage the tag titles? Lance Archer and Brian Cage are two big men who have been absolutely hoed by AEW. And I'm keeping it real. Lance Archer, I feel like Lance Archer could have been booked a lot better as a big man. Also, Brian Cage as well. Both of these two guys could have been booked a lot better as big men in AEW. This is the time to rewrite your wrongs, Tony Khan. This is the time to do that. You've already put these two guys in the tag team together. Great, that's awesome. They have been destroying teams. Absolutely destroying teams. I'm a fan of both of these guys. So, I don't think it's a bad idea to have them take the titles away from Private Party in the near future. I'm not saying you do it immediately, but you know what I'm saying? Give Private Party a little bit more time with the titles. Let them enjoy their run. I would say maybe at World's End next month, you do Lance Archer and Brian Cage taking on Private Party for the AEW tag team titles, and you have Lance Archer and Brian Cage bring home tag team gold to the Don Callis family. I think that's a perfect idea. That is a great idea. And that would give Lance Archer and Brian Cage some gold and some credibility in AEW. And that would get them featured, I would hope, prominently on Dynamite as AEW Tag Team Champions. And yeah, man, that's pretty much all of the matches that I have that I believe that AEW should make after Full Gear, man. So that's pretty much the end of this video. Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments down below. If you have any other matches, or if you think guys should be switched, let me know, man. Let me know. But until next time, folks, y'all stay safe, stay cool, and I'm going to see y'all later, man. Peace.